It's a jam. It's a jam, and you're a whole vibe.
I do what I can. I do what I can. Happy. I guess Halloween was yesterday, but it's still spooky season. At least till this weekend's over. At least till those clocks switch. So yeah, I guess I'll say happy Halloween.
Well, hey, thank you. Yelling and screaming. This is NFL Week 9. We're filming a little later than we normally do, but it gives us a chance to skip the Jets twice if we want to.
I want to say one quick thing on that game. It was 3 quarters of nothing, and then an exciting fourth quarter. And the Jets were able to do what they needed to do to get a win there. But it didn't tell me too much about the Jets, and it didn't tell me anything useful about the Texans really. So
Yeah, I mean you see Rodgers' final stat line and he looks fine, but I mean that was nothing. There was a whole bunch of nothing in that game for a very long time.
yeah, it was not worth watching realistically. I was bored, very bored, trying to check and see what the scores were, and checking on some bets and stuff, and just like, oh, okay, now it's the fourth quarter, now things are happening.
At least the nice thing out here on the West Coast is you could have wasted your entire evening with that game and still gone out for Halloween.
That is true. That is true. Actually, I went to Patty's. Shout out Patty's first Ave lounge, and finished the game there.
All right. So we
Good
actually have
time.
a pretty good NFL Week 9. There are some stinkers in here, but there's some games that I think we're really going to learn a lot about some of these teams. I mean, this is the halfway point of the season. You kind of are who you are at this point.
Hmm.
I think this is kind of the last chance for a lot of these teams to do something other than what they've shown us. I mean, hell, Cowboys, Falcons. I'm not sure who these teams are. The Falcons were supposed to be a running team, and what they're doing is working, but I mean, their identity seems kind of lost to me. I mean, anytime you have Tyler Algiers in there ever, that's just weird to me. You don't need two running backs if you have Bijan, and if Bijan can't handle being inside his own 20 in the fourth quarter, what's he doing out there at all? I'm not sure who these teams are, but I don't think it matters. I don't know the Cowboys are beating the Falcons.
Honestly, the Cowboys are their run defense is terrible. My expectation is that they're going to have a good rushing night. I mean, maybe it was some something with his motor, or I don't know what was going on with Bijan. But I mean, they still ended up with over 100, almost 130 rushing yards last week against the Bucks, and the Cowboys defense is significantly worse. They've given up a lot of rush yards in the last couple games against some pretty solid runners. Bijan is no exception to that. So I think that really the run differential is going to kill them. Cowboys can't run the ball to save their life, and they can't stop the ball from being run. So I'm just going to say if I'm the Falcons, run, run, run. And then when the Cowboys decide to try to stack the box, you've still got ATL Kirk out there doing his thing. So, I mean, he threw for 4 touchdown passes this past week, and no picks. He was very efficient. Only had 2 sacks. Let him keep cooking. Like right now, Atlanta's. I mean, they got the 3 losses, but I don't think that they're at all scared of their division, and I don't think that they're scared of anybody. So if I'm them, I'm feeling good against the Cowboys.
I just feel really bad for the Cowboys fans because it's like you're hoping and praying that your savior Rico Dowdle comes back. Like
I am never hoping. I never feel bad for Cowboys fans. They are disillusioned every single year, and then we see what actually happens, and then it's like like you didn't know it was going to happen. I mean, the Cowboys haven't made it to the Super Bowl or won a Super Bowl really in pretty much my whole lifetime. If you want to go, I mean, 30 years, like it's it's not even worth continuing to talk about them as a front runner in the NFL until they can show me anything more than what they've shown me. Congratulations, they had one season last year where they had a really good offense and a great defense, and they still shat the bed. So when you don't have all those pieces in place, they look like what I expected the Cowboys to look like.
Yeah, they're not even the best team in their division.
They're not even the best team in our state.
Oh boy, that might be true.
That is very true.
This next game for me, Sean, this is probably two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL squaring off. Super Bo Nix, and you've got my new best friend, Lamar. I'm excited for this one just because the Ravens can get downhill on the Broncos, I think they might just hand the ball to the best running back in the NFL and play smash mouth football and then open up all that space for Lamar to throw. I mean, I don't this line is 9, 8.5, 9. I think that feels about right. What we've seen from the Broncos offense cannot keep up with even an off Ravens offense.
I would say that I agree with that statement. I don't want to push it too much though. I don't necessarily like the 9 point line, and the only reason why is I can see a 2 score win, a 10 point game. But realistically, the Sean Payton defense right now is what's really keeping the Broncos in these games. They're not giving up a ton of points, and so when you can do that, then you give your offense the best shot. The thing is with their run game over there and how dynamic Baltimore's offense is, they can stay on the field for a very long time. They can also score really, really quickly. I mean, say what you want, but play action from Lamar Jackson, that thing's going down the field to Zay Flowers. And now picking up D-Hop, not D-Hop, was that what? Didn't they just get a wide receiver? D-Hop went to the Chiefs. They just got a wide receiver too. They picked up another. They picked up another wide receiver who's supposed to be more dynamic than what they already had in that offense. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they can work them in. But that offense is already so potent. Like, I just don't see how the Broncos. Only thing that they could really do is slow them down and get Lamar to overthink, and make mistakes. If you can do that, that's your best chance. But otherwise, yeah, it'll be a pounding. And if they get up big, Bo Nix ain't throwing the ball. So the thing then becomes, well, what happens? Because their rush offense for the Broncos is not potent.
I did completely miss that trade. That is Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson, that's what it was. Oh, goodness. So the Panthers are really fire sale. They're really fire sale this. Yeah. They're they're getting rid of it.
It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good, man. They don't have anything on that team. I mean, we could touch on them quickly if you want. These next 3 games we didn't have a whole lot for. I'll continue to take shots at Tua every chance I get. When your running back is wearing a Guardian cap and you still refuse to, you do you're supposed to be a role model for kids. I don't think that's right, but
I agree with you. However, I've looked into this, and the reason why Tua is not wearing the Guardian cap is because there's a company that makes custom NFL helmets that has been approved by the NFL, and they're made to be able to withstand shock. They're actually custom molded to your head. So he's supposedly getting one of those helmets instead of the Guardian cap. That's what I've been hearing. That's what I've seen. So I agree with you. I think he should be wearing the Guardian cap, but according to what I've seen on these new helmets, they've been able to decrease impact and do shock absorption significantly better than just the Guardian cap alone on a standard helmet. They've actually been comparable to the Guardian cap with the helmet, or a little bit better with that, just based on how custom they are, and the padding that they're using in those. So that's the only caveat that I've seen here as to why he's not wearing the Guardian cap, is because he's getting a custom helmet. So, yeah. I mean, I think that he should be wearing the Guardian cap. I think it absolutely is a case for him to be a role model. But I mean, realistically, he's playing against the Bills this week. He's obviously is ready to get back out there and play, but the Bills are rocking right now. I mean, Cook just ran out the gym this past week, and the Bills offense right now looks like it's one of those. It's looking real potent as well too. So I mean, good luck to him.
Yeah, I mean, jumping forward here, stop me if you want to touch on these, but Chargers, Browns, obviously Winston comes in and does his thing. All dude does is win. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't really like the talent on this Browns team. The Chargers are a good spot to kind of put it together. They're not especially good at anything other than running the ball. So if you can stop them up front, I mean, the Browns could be in this game. But and again, it's kind of late in the season. You could go on a run here with Winston, but are you catching the Ravens?
They're definitely not catching the Ravens, but I think the Chargers are a little bit more ignited right now after Deshaun Watson going down and the energy that the city showed and the response that Jameis Winston had and how he is a leader, even though he says the randomest shit in the huddle, which I love. I mean, it's just that's how he flows. But he is a leader right now, and I think that that's going to be a benefit to them. I think that at this point the Browns are kind of like the same as they were last year, where Flacco came in and like did what he needed to do, played really well. And I think that they're in an instance where like they are not a team that you expect much from, and that's when they can really shine. I think that's really it. Like when you don't expect very much from them, and they're playing against teams like the Chargers, who again they're not full strength yet. They're not really good at doing anything particular on offense right now. I'm not seeing it, but they absolutely are a team that like you get the win against them, you get a couple more wins. You start to play some tough divisional games, you get those wins, and suddenly you're one of those teams that's pushing. It's a tough division though. It's not going to be an easy division to win in. So.
I mean, if you're Browns management, like at what point do you just look at your massive investment you made and just kind of eat crow on it? I mean, like this team sucks with Watson. Watson is awful. Like 40-year-old Joe Flacco shouldn't be able to step in and take your team on a run. A 30-year-old Winston who has been branded not good enough to start in the NFL shouldn't galvanize the youth talent on your team. But both those things are happening, have happened, or will happen here. I mean, if he wins this week against the Chargers, then they go play the Saints, three-game winning streak. I mean, I don't think Watson's coming back this year, obviously, but like at what point, if
do
it's
you
not
just eat
Winston,
it?
it's not Winston, but it's not Watson.
It's definitely not Watson. I can agree with
Move
that.
on.
People keep going off of, and this is the thing that gets me in the NFL is a guy can have one good year and suddenly his potential is the only thing that people talk about. They only talk about his potential. They only talk about the Watson had one good year in a couple of okay years. And they're just talking about him like if he gets good if he's healthy, and I'm like, bro, at a certain point you got to eat it, you got to bite the bullet. All right, this guy can't make it through a whole season. Who gives a shit if he's good? Even when he played, he wasn't good either. But like, he can't make it through a whole season. So why are you still holding on to that idea? Move on. Draft a quarterback. Realistically, they need to draft a quarterback.
I mean, the contract was insane,
stupid.
But like clearly, this guy is a problem on the field and in the facility. I mean, they look like a completely different team when he's not around. And at some point, you just eat $300 million because it's your job to win games. Like these fans have had the Browns be god awful in very recent history. Like, I don't know if they'll do it again, man. This team's going to move out of downtown Cleveland. They're going to find a way to beat that law, and they're just going to leave.
Oh my goodness! Well, where would they go? Even they're a staple.
They got a stadium deal in the suburbs. They don't want to leave Ohio, but they put that law in place after the Browns left the last time, where like you're not allowed to leave. Like you have to have like the city council sign off on you leaving Cleveland.
What?
Yeah, it's like a very strange law.
That's weird.
I'll look it up for the next show, but yeah, it's like literally called the like "Don't Steal Our Team's" law. And that's what they're fighting against. They have the land and the deal for like the Browns to finance this big, beautiful stadium out in the suburbs in a dome, so they can host stuff. Nice. And
finally,
the city's like, no.
That's crazy.
So
that's wild.
Washington and the Giants. Man.
Oh, hold on! You skipped over the Bengals and the Raiders here, sir. Yeah, and I want to give my Raiders.
I did it on purpose. That was one of the ones I was telling you I wanted to skip over.
I know, and I'm not going to let you disrespect my Raiders like that. All right.
Talk to me. Talk to me about the Pirates here.
Tough loss. At the end of the day, you got to win games. I'm just hoping that we can get a new quarterback in the draft. The Bengals are actually the team that is definitely on the hot seat. Because they're supposed to be good. They are supposed to be good. So if they can't beat the Raiders at home, that does not bode well for what really is happening in that franchise. I don't know what happened between last year and this year, but I don't know if cutting your hair was the best idea. I don't know what happened, but it is not doing the things that it need to do. It
Well, I
is
mean,
not motivating the team. It's just not.
you want to talk about a guy who had one really good season.
I mean, so here's my only caveat to that is that in the early losses, like they're 3-5, the Bengals are 3-5, but in the early losses, he wasn't bad. It's just his,
But he wasn't the
but he
reason they
wasn't.
won. That
He
they
wasn't
were
necessarily
had a
the
chance to
reason that he.
win.
Well, I mean, if you score 30 points and you lose, it is definitely you definitely give your team the best chance to win.
The
I'm
Washington
sorry.
game's a bit of an anomaly, but I understand what you're saying.
Like, I mean, yeah, you scored. I mean, look, well, their first 4 games. I mean, obviously they lost to the Patriots, terrible. But then the Chiefs game, 1 point loss. The Commanders game, 33, 1 point at 33 points, and they still lose. Ravens game, 38 points, and they still lose. So, like, I mean, the Eagles just were not gonna give them anything in that game. Like, I'm sorry, but Saquon is running like a madman right now. And when that's happening, look out. Doesn't matter what defense you got. So I mean, you need you need the no name defense to stop that bad boy. But I'm telling you right now, like it does not bode well for the Bengals if they cannot get a win at home against a bad Raiders team.
Yeah,
That's
line's
it.
like 7. That feels fair.
The Raiders can't score. The Raiders can't score, so it doesn't really matter. Like the Bengals have the ability to score. They have very good offensive weapons. Even Zach Moss is not a bad running back, and they still have a very potent passing offense. They need to be able to throw they should just be, the Raiders secondary is Swiss cheese. Just throw the ball on him. He should have 400 passing yards, 400 to 500 passing yards, and 4 touchdowns in this game. Like it's not even close. It's sad. I mean, if Max Crosby is going to eat if that Bengals offensive line can't hold him, but if the Bengals offensive line can keep Crosby away from then it's cookies. Back to the Commanders.
Sorry, Commanders, Giants. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about this one either. This Giants team is bad.
The Giants are bad, but divisional game.
For a while that their defense was actually good. Early in the year, it looked like their defense was good and just was on the field too much and getting tired. And I don't think it was real. I think this team is pretty bad. It is still because the offense can't put a drive together.
Yeah,
it sucks all the available talent out of that team just by attrition. But
well,
I mean, they're 15.
Oh, their offense is god awful, and the longer your offense is not, the longer your defense is on the field, the worse it's going to get. It doesn't matter. They're tired. Defenders are prone to injuries, so you see guys in the fourth quarters of games now. They're just fatigued, and they're getting hit. They're tired. They're injured. Suddenly, now you got to bring in a backup guy. That trickle down just keeps happening every single game. You can't keep anybody. You can't look. They won 2 of the games that they won. They scored 29 and they scored 21. Other than that, they have not scored more than 18 points in any game. Their offense is god awful.
Well, and to your point on defense, they're not deep anywhere except safety and maybe defensive end.
Line.
And that's not the middle. That's not the That's not the box.
Nope.
I mean, that is just getting gashed. And the Washington team here has been good on the ground. I mean, obviously you have a quarterback who can get out of the pocket and kind of create on the outside, but I mean, they can run the ball too. And if the Giants,
Brian Robinson's solid at running back.
I give me Washington and
by a mile.
The Giants just aren't it, man.
My only thing here is that it's a divisional game, so that's always going to be, like the Giants they only scored 18 points, in up to 18 points in their losses, but against the Commanders they scored 18 and the Commanders scored 21, and it was an all field goal game. So if the Giants can play like that, again, divisional team, that means that they've seen each other a bunch, so their scheming is going to be much more relevant in this instance. But I think that the Commanders have been flowing so much right now, like realistically, that team is just clicking. And this was also early too for Jane Daniels. This is second game of the season. So, like
Yeah.
I couldn't expect too much from him against a divisional rival. But now he should cook him.
I mean, I guess if you're looking for an edge, it's getting colder and it is in New Jersey. I don't think it matters.
It doesn't. DC and New Jersey, the temperature difference is negligible between DC and Meadowlands. Is negligible. It's probably what, like 5-degree difference. It's negligible.
Less mosquitoes, I would assume, but who knows?
Less mosquitoes.
Patriots Titans. I think your note kind of says it best. No Drake May. This isn't going to be anywhere near a TV I'm watching.
The problem that I have is that sometimes you have these games with two bad teams, and the game can be interesting because you have something going for it. Something. This game has nothing going for it for me. Nothing. I saw somebody up there talking about Tony Pollard plus 70 yards rushing, and I'm like, I don't give a shit about that. I couldn't care less about that. Drake May was the only potential reason that I would watch. If I had Ramondre Stevenson on my team, I was like, maybe I want to watch this game. But now, given how bad these teams are and how the organizations don't really seem like they're making they didn't make any moves. I don't know what they're planning to do in the offseason for these teams, but like I'm just not seeing anything with these two. So, at the end of the day, there's no point in watching this game for me. Anyway, Pats and Titans fans, y'all go ahead and watch it, but I'm not going to waste my TV time on it.
I don't know. Shout out to our friend Kate. She's probably going to sell her season tickets because the Patriots fans are still stupid and they'll pay for them. So,
and Sam too, Sam Murphy, big Pats fan, big Pats girl.
Bears Cardinals out here in the desert. The Bears, man, the Bears are the Bears. What a bad look. What a bad look. You're putting together this youthful team, all this energy, and to lose it in the most historically Bears way possible. Not great for morale, not great for the fan base. I know everyone's excited for this Bears team, but man, to see them lose in the exact same kind of stupid way that the Bears have been losing for 30 years, 40 years is unbearable.
Unbearable. I like it. I see what you did there.
Give me the Cardinals here. I don't know what the Bears are right now, but if they're going to struggle against middle of the road defenses, give me the middle of the road defense the Cardinals are throwing out there. Like 3 sacks and like 18 points allowed, something like that.
I will say this. The Cardinals were down big in that game and made the comeback. Is the Call of Duty curse still upon us? Because I don't know, man. Maybe I thought it was the 25th.
No, the game's out, but new Warzone doesn't come out for like another 3 weeks or something. I think he's a Warzone guy, not a multiplayer guy. So
gotcha. Okay. We got a little more time then. Oh God. Well, look, that was a great comeback for them, and the Bears losing in the exact opposite fashion. I think realistically, this game is going to come down to which team can rush the ball. So it's going to come down to at the end of the day. You gotta move down the field and you gotta control the clock. And the Cardinals were able to score in bunches in that game at the end, but I'm not certain that that's their identity. And I know that they feel like they can move the ball down the field with Connor. I mean, it was tight end day, by the way, National Tight End Day, and all of them scored, dude. They were eating this past week. I like Trey McBride. I like the fact that they that they were able to get the ball to him. I've been waiting for them to do that consistently for the season. So I mean, if they can get the tight end play and the run game are really going to be the biggest things for this game.
You want to do a little impromptu 2-man draft?
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're going to draft from the Bears and the Cardinals only.
Okay.
A quarterback, a tight end, and a running back. Would you like the first pick or the second and third picks on the wraparound?
I'll take the first pick.
All right, who you got first pick?
I'm taking Kyler first. I'm taking Kyler over Caleb.
Okay, so I'll take McBride and Connor off the board.
And Connor,
yeah. 2 and 3.
So well, then there we go. Yeah. So that was, but my thing is this: Caleb Williams with the same weapons, would he be different? And I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think that those guys' skill sets are probably very similar to the ones that are in Chicago already. I think it really comes down to is can he get the ball to him? And I think Kyler Murray can get the ball to should be able to get the ball to his guys a little better than Caleb is right now. And also I think his guys trust him at this point. I think his guys still trust him. I think Caleb is still there's still a lot more growth and a lot more relationship he's got to build with his guys, understanding how to lead them and how to lead them on passes, and understanding where their catch radius is and things like that. Like those things are things that take time to really develop and build. But once he's there, he can put the ball where he needs to put it. Then he'll be a much more dynamic quarterback than he is right now.
From a skill player standpoint, the Bears should be better than they've looked. I know a lot of that is rookie quarterback and a ton of that is offensive line. But these wide receivers kind of disappear sometimes in big moments. And I'm afraid if the Bears are chasing the Cardinals late, they're not going to be there.
They're not going to be there. Nope. The Bears are not a team that's going to come from behind. In my opinion, Caleb just doesn't have that in him. And yeah, he can't get the ball. He's got too many weapons to not be able to get the ball to him. Too many weapons to not be able to get the ball to him. Sorry. But his entire receiver core is healthy.
Speaking of coming from behind, the tush push is back. I hate the tush push. I really hate the tush push when all I need is a Saquon touchdown to net a parlay out. And they tush push for 3 friggin' touchdowns.
If it makes you feel, go ahead. If it makes you feel, why? If it makes you feel any better, I needed 9 yards from Aaron Rodgers.
That doesn't make me feel
better. Was it Rodgers or I needed 9 yards? I needed 9 passing yards last night to hit my 4-leg parlay. 9.
If you have a gambling problem, dial 1-800-GAMBLER.
That's not even the number, is it?
I have no idea. I don't have a gambling problem. I can quit anytime I want.
Hey, I don't gamble to gamble. I use it as it's my investment. It's my stock market because I'm much better at this than reading stocks. Much better. Yeah. If you want to learn the strategy, come holla at me at KS Flash. But I mean, realistically, the Jaguars are terrible, and the Eagles right now are a team that, in my opinion, has never been a team that took anything from being from being praised. They're very much an underdog team, underdog city, and so when they stopped being the team that people had in the limelight, it really actually benefited their team overall. I think that now they're not, they're one of those teams now that people know is good, but they're not like, oh my God, the Eagles, they're going to make the Super Bowl, they're going to be this. So they're just like, all right, cool. We just get to play football now. We get to be ourselves. We get to be us. We get to be raw. We get to just play our game. And I think that's the energy that the Eagles are actually putting out right now. Earlier on, they were a very discombobulated offense. Now you can't tell them nothing. And having AJ Brown back really it just sent them over the edge, dude. Don't get me wrong, Devontae Smith is a phenomenal wide receiver, but it's just so dynamic with them, and then having the tight end, such a good tight end in that system is like, where can you miss? And then having an O-line that just controls the line, yeah, that's what you need. Their defense really was something that I kind of looked at and was like, they had a good secondary. They had some guys get injured early, some guys that left and came back. They had a rotation of linebackers and D linemen that they've still been able to do very consistently, but their secondary was a little iffy. But I mean, if you put up 37 points, you ain't got to really and you're running the ball, controlling the clock. You ain't got to really worry about your secondary that much. They get to relax. They got to play a few good minutes here and there. They got to shut teams down, and then they get to go chill on the sideline.
I think if you win 10 or 11 games in the NFC, you're a playoff team this year. It's just kind of where it's sitting. Obviously in division, I think their biggest competition is the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you get to double-digit wins, you're going to be there in the end, whether it's a division or a wild card slide. All that really
it's gonna
matters
be tough though.
now
it's gonna be
is
tough
the one
though.
seed.
It's gonna be tough though because the way that the Lions are playing right now, that division is stacked, and if you want one of those top seeds, you're gonna have to go through one of those guys. The Vikings, I mean, I'm starting to see some things happen with them that I'm like, all right, they feel more like what I thought the Vikings are gonna be, but I mean, they still got a rest of the schedule to play, and they're a much better team than people thought they were going to be. So that's two teams from that division right there that I expect they're going to make the playoffs, unless the Vikings really shit the bed. I said there's at least two. You got your other divisional leaders, so like it's going to be tight. Well, it's going to be tight.
Let's jump into what might be the best division in football: Lions Packers. Lions have looked ungodly, man. They have been really, really good. The Packers are kind of rounding into form, which is a weird thing to say when you have inconsistent quarterback play. But I've said this to our Packers friends just to piss them off. I'm starting to buy into it. I think this Packers team, the sum of the pieces is better with Malik Willis. I think he allows everybody else to play better football. And
Malik Willis is 3-0.
Loves that
and Love is
the eye test for me. And when he's out there, everything seems strained. Love conceptually should be the better running quarterback. And when he's in the game, I feel like teams are stacking the box and making him beat him throwing. Like he should be able to get out and create, and he doesn't. And I haven't watched every minute of every game with the Packers, but it's hard to argue with the results. And the results are that they are a better team with Malik Willis. And so if you backtrack that and look at like individual drives and like individual play, I'm not saying Malik Willis is a better quarterback than Jordan Love, but I am saying that the Packers are better with Malik Willis at quarterback than they are with Jordan Love. That's wild to say, but I'm actually starting to buy it.
I was already buying it. I was buying it when Malik Willis came out and won 2 games. I was buying it then. The Packers are a team who has been very consistent with quarterback play over the last 30 years, right? They really had 3 quarterbacks. In the same way that everybody loves to respect the Steelers for them having the same coaches, you got to do the same thing for the Packers. That organization, as far as quarterbacks go, I mean, Favre, they loved him. Rodgers, they loved him. Now Love's in there. I don't know if they need to love. I think that Malik Willis looks real nice in the system. And not just that, Josh Jacobs, one of the best running backs in the NFL, and he is keeping them relevant. Because without him running that ball like that, I mean, 127 yards and 2 touchdowns on 25 carries, like without that, this team just is not the same. And they've had good running backs too. Aaron Jones was a solid. Jones was a good running back. When Lacey was there he had a few good moments there. AJ Dillon. Like they've had some solid running back play. Whether or not you want to say the running back individual running back was good or not, they've had good running back play, and that's really what they need to make sure they keep the running play good. And then the quarterbacks just gotta. I mean, I don't know. I like Malik Willis. I think they just need to play him. Just play him. Let the kid play.
Having said all that, the Lions are going to win this game. I would love for more of this division to eat itself. Give me the cannibalization here. If all 4 teams ended up right around 10 wins, it would be fantastic. I think it would be good for the sport. It's good for this division. These fan bases need to hate each other. It's part of football. So I'm looking for a good one here. It's starting to get cold in the Midwest. We'll see if it factors in or not, but the Lions are for real.
I don't think it should be any. The Lions don't. They don't think anybody can touch them. They have all the pride that they need right now because they are crushing teams. Like it's not even a game at this point. And their last two games, they've put up or three. Sorry. In their last three games, they've put up an average of 43 points. I want to say
Really, really hard
something
to
about
lose a
43,
game when you score
44
six
points.
touchdowns.
Yeah, a little difficult. And I mean, granted, they weren't the Vikings game was a hard fought win. Cowboys was a blowout. Titans was a blowout. Seahawks was a blowout. Like they start off the season with some tighter games, but they just been running, and that is their bread and butter too. That rush offense is so potent that it just opens up the field for Jared Goff to throw these touchdown passes. And don't get me wrong, Goff is a very good quarterback. He was a good quarterback before he switched teams, and they knew that they were getting that when they made that trade for Stafford. They wanted to change, but they didn't want to change at the same time, and then they got exactly what they needed with that QB swap. So I mean,
Man,
I'm bought in on the Lions right now.
who won that trade? We're a few
The
years
Rams.
removed. You think
The
so?
Rams. The Rams.
Just for the ring?
Either both teams wanted a Super Bowl. That's the reason for the trade. You want to win a Super Bowl. You feel like your team is built where only one piece needed to be changed, and the Rams did it immediately.
So
And the Rams,
if the Lions win a ring this year, does it change your opinion on it at all?
It doesn't, and the only reason why it doesn't change my opinion is because the Rams have been riddled with injury at very significant positions, and they also lost literally one of the best defensive linemen of all time.
Yeah,
So their team
just get that ring and got some quit.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, Stafford's career was very good before this, and he gets the ring, he gets what he needs to close it out. You get, you're McVay, you're happy with what you got, but you still obviously you want a team to be built to win more than that. And then you get Cooper Kupp in there, he's injured. You get Puka Nacua, who shows out as the next guy, he's injured now. So like your skill position guys, they really both of them at the same time in an offense. I mean, with Kyron Williams running the ball all over the place, like that offense is really potent. But they got to be healthy, and the defense is not the same with Aaron Donald. It's just not.
Man, if I'm Stafford, I am counting wins, every single win, because he is going to be right on the edge of being a Hall of Famer, and the stats are there. But he played for the shitty Lions for so long, he doesn't have the wins. And I don't know if he gets in unless he hits, some milestone number. I don't know what he's saying at. But
only reason why I can't agree with that, I think he gets in. And the reason why I think he gets in is because if you let Megatron in, then you have to let him in because he threw him the ball.
Well, that's fair, but he shouldn't be in either.
He threw. I mean, he's got it. Any person who has a name that you can recognize by just one word is in the Hall of Fame.
Stafford's got 101 wins. He's sub 500 for his career.
Fair enough.
I think
where's he at in passing? Where's he at all-time passing though? Where's he at all-time passing? That's what you gotta look at the totality, not just the wins.
But I don't know if you get in sub 500. I don't know. We'll have to dig into that. He's got 57,000 passing yards. So,
yeah, he's sub 500 because he had a terrible defense.
Yeah. Rams Seahawks. Interesting game for the West. This division is doing what this division does every year, and they lose games they shouldn't to teams they shouldn't, and then the next time the teams play each other, the roles are reversed. This is a division that put 7 and 9 teams into the playoffs a couple times, and I enjoy it. But for me, you kind of alluded to it here. The Rams are a mess.
Mm-hmm.
This Seahawks team has lost some games they definitely shouldn't have, but they still have a really, really good run game. They still have receivers who could go out there and win a game on their own. I kind of like the Seahawks in this game. This is essentially pick 'em, Seahawks 1.5-ish, but I like them. I like them to win here.
Seahawks run differential in their last game was the was my point in this, is that they have a potent run offense when it works.
Yeah,
They
correct.
have to be when it works. Charbonnet's solid, and they can run some play action, and they've got strong wide receivers. But when it's not working, they have nothing going for them. So that's what happened last week. And I guess if the Rams, this is a divisional game as well. So if the Rams can get them, keep the pressure on the Seahawks, keep them from actually establishing that run game, that's their best shot at getting the win here. But again, the 12th man is always a factor. And playing in Seattle is never easy. So I mean, the Rams are playing in an indoor. It's not air conditioning, but it's in LA. So they're playing in nice, relaxed temperature in a beautiful, brand new lit stadium that's covered, yada, yada, yada. Playing in Seattle is going to be loud. It's going to be pretty cold. It's not going to be the same situation for them. I like the Seahawks in this game, but they have to get that run game established and get it established early so that you can actually start play actioning off of it and get the ball downfield to DK and those other guys.
See, and that's the thing for me. I think it's DK. I think you have to use that first drive to establish that DK is healthy. Because if they can't prove that he's healthy, he's going to draw no attention, and then they're going to shut that run game down. You can swap out your pass cover safeties for rush guys, and they're dead in the water. So I think if DK is healthy, I think he gets 2 catches that first drive. You just got to feed him and be like, hey, look, boy's good. You got to cover him. And then that'll open up some of the lanes for Walker.
Understandable.
Could go to hell real quick. Colts Vikings. Man, the Colts. Our notes are similar here. You want to take it? You'll probably be a little more eloquent than I will because I have some thoughts.
My frustration here, and our notes are similar, but our notes are very different in the same way. I always think about how the energy in the organization, in the franchise, how that's affecting the players' mentalities. And in an instance, in an organization where it's been we've seen a significant amount of injuries just this season at the quarterback position, at the running back position, and they're shook. They are not at all stable. Flacco adds stability right now. And he's a good quarterback still. Is he going to have another comeback player of the year? Maybe. Because realistically, if he comes in and this team becomes a playoff team under his helm with an inconsistent, injured Richardson and an injured Taylor that's kind of bopping in and out, you don't really know which week he's going to play. Hopefully he plays this week because I got him in fantasy. But, I mean, realistically, like, these guys on the Colts, they need to have a decisive winner here against the Vikings. If the Colts expose the Vikings this week, it's downhill for the Vikings. They're going to have one of those seasons where they're going to be one of those teams that starts off the season hot and then just falls off the cliff. Because at the end of the day, the Colts right now are so disheveled that you should be for the Vikings, you should be able to take this game, get a decisive win, and go, okay, we're back on the right track.
I'm going to be nice.
You don't have to be nice. It's yelling and screaming, baby. This ain't a daycare system.
Richardson isn't an NFL quarterback. He has no heart. He has no spirit. Watching him try to put together a game-winning drive, it's just not there. He's not a leader. He doesn't have what it takes. There are a couple instances where what a winning quarterback does is get the damn ball out of his hand, and he's taking sacks. And you can't do that and be a winner. And I understand that he's young. I understand that development will come. But this organization is not the one to do it. Let me take.
Historically, the only quarterback that got any that was Peyton Manning,
right?
And he was there for a million years.
Manning is a top 5 all-timer. So
he's the smartest quarterback to ever play. He's the brain on Peyton Manning, unlike anybody else.
Yeah, this team, this organization is so bad that Andrew Luck quit football.
To be fair, he was taking a lot of hits. That's his fault. That's his fault. He was taking a lot of hits. That's his fault.
Yeah, I don't think Richardson's it. I really like the Colts team. Obviously, a soft spot in my heart for the Badger toting the rock back there. Their wide receivers I like because they're kind of nobodies. They just kind of show up and like somebody catches a 45-yard bomb, and you're like, oh, I totally forgot he was on this team. And it's like every single wide receiver for them, and they're always hurt and rotating in and out. So I like the Colts, but they're not going to beat the Vikings, and they're not going to win their division, and they're not going to be over 500, and they're going to do the same thing next year. I don't see a path forward with the quarterback talent that they have. Even if Flacco plays, it's not sustainable.
So my issue is that Flacco fits the Colts organization better than Richardson does, but that doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't mean Richardson isn't an NFL quarterback. I think that the problem is that he's in the work. Hold on. I think the problem is that he is not in an organization that is built to be able to develop a quarterback who has the physical ability, but not the mental fortuitiveness. He does not. I agree. He does not make smart decisions when he needs to with the ball. He's very inconsistent when it comes to getting the ball down the field. He can throw the ball very far, but he can't throw a 5-yard pass accurately. He can't lead the. Yeah, he got a fucking cannon, but he cannot throw the ball accurately 5 yards to a guy on. He can't lead the receivers where he needs to. So the problem with the Colts is that they got used to having smart quarterbacks that weren't athletic. And then they were like, let me go get an athletic quarterback who ain't that smart. And they're like, whoa, wait a minute. What's going on here? He's not working out. Let me bring in this dinosaur who Joe Flacco is literally Peyton Manning, old as fuck. He's old Peyton Manning. I'm not going to say he has the same brain as Peyton, but I definitely think that he's a similar caliber. He's that old white quarterback who just knows. He's like, all right, bam, this is where the ball needs to go. Bam, he makes very good read. He's very smart with the ball, throws it away when he needs to. The NFL has moved away from away from that style of quarterback play, in because a lot of the younger quarterbacks just have so much athleticism to them. But that style of quarterbacking is still necessary, especially in an organization where you don't have anybody in your coaching staff or anybody else in the organization who can develop those talents, develop the mental aspect of it. The Kyler Murrays will always underperform, and the Anthony Richardsons and, some of these other, Malik Willis is doing his thing now, but some of those other guys, there's other guys in the NFL that are quarterbacks that have all of the skill set, but that don't have the mental capacity pedigree that these other quarterbacks have had in some of these other schools. And so the team picks up a guy who's super athletic, who's got all the intangibles, but doesn't pass the Wonderlic the same way that you want him to. And he's not that guy. He's not going through 4, 5, 6 read progressions. He's looking at one guy and he's like, oh, fuck, I got to run now. And so that's the difference. And Tom Brady touched on this. He said the quarterback position got dumber. And I agree with him. The problem that I have is that instead of him making a point of saying we need to have more of these older quarterbacks, all the old quarterbacks don't go coach quarterbacks. All the old quarterbacks go into broadcasting, or they go into broadcasting, or they go into the front office. And it's like, why the fuck aren't you guys on the front? Why aren't you guys out there coaching these young quarterbacks to make these teams better? Bro,
There's no money in coaching.
Look, I'm sorry, but that's for the love of the game.
But they don't love the game, man.
They got enough fucking money, man. They got enough money. Go teach some of these young guys. Honestly, there's quarterbacks out there right now that should be coaches. Some of the guys that maybe didn't have the physical abilities that should be coaches right now. Phillip Rivers should be a fucking coach. He should be at least a minimum a quarterback coach.
Well, I think he's coaching a team of all his children. But Sean, while you're talking, I think I figured out how to help the Colts.
What do
they have a quarterback that has all the athletic talent in the world and no football IQ, and they're going to need draft picks to replace that. I happen to know a team that needs a quarterback and loves players with no football IQ. The Colts could trade Richardson to the Raiders for draft picks.
Why would the Raiders make another terrible decision like that? I don't want just an athletic quarterback. I want a smart quarterback.
Breaking news.
and I got Brady in the organization now. So hopefully he can help them find that next guy. I didn't like Tom Brady as a player. I learned to respect him as a quarterback when he won with Tampa Bay. And now that he's a part owner of the team that I love and that I cheer for on a weekly basis and that I rep, I'm going to say right now, be fucking useful. You know what? Honestly, I hate the fact that Gruden's gone, but the man was a genius. So if you're going to come to this organization, be useful. I don't want you just sitting around. I don't need a face. I don't need a face of the organization. I need someone who's actually going to get us where we need to be. Get me a fucking quarterback. All right. I like Carr. Carr was good.
2 years.
Carr was good. 2 years?
2 years before you get a quarterback.
Who? Arch?
Arch. It's Arch.
It won't be Arch. You know why? Because the Raiders won't have the number 1 draft pick. They will somehow end up with the 3rd or 4th pick. And they'll end up picking up like the fastest wide receiver that they can find, or some random ass tight end.
Like you just trade back. You just keep trading back, baby. If you have 3 first-round picks in 2026, you can pool them together.
Man, I honestly keep saying it. I like Shadur. I like Cam Ward, but really I just need a quarterback who throws the ball to beyond his first and second read.
There's no more Raiders quarterback than Shadur Sanders. He will be exactly like the last set of quarterbacks you've drafted. Shadur Sanders is not it either.
He's got time. He's got
5 games.
He's
coming to the NFL. I don't know if he's a first-round draft pick, but he's coming.
He's got time.
Buccaneers Chiefs Monday Night Football. Oh man, the Bucs picked a bad time to have literally no players. Got to establish the run real early and control the clock, and then hope and pray that Mahomes continues to play the way he's been playing. But I mean, Baker needs 403 touchdowns, and they need to limit mistakes in order to win this game. I mean, if this game is under 30 points or within 1 score, the Chiefs win. It's over. Like, you have to be absolutely flawless.
I agree with that. And here's the point too. The Chiefs right now give some eerie similarities to the Patriots when they were in their dynasty, where they weren't necessarily the most outstanding team as far as any one intangible thing. They didn't throw for the most yards. They didn't necessarily rush for the most yards. They didn't have the number 1 defense, whatever the case is. They had a solid defense, and the Chiefs defense is good. But the thing that people sleep on are the intangibles. They sleep on the control of the ball on 3rd down, on whether or not you get a lot of 4 and outs, or whether or not you're moving the ball, on how your red zone offense is. Are you giving up touchdowns, or are you giving up field goals? And the Chiefs right now are in a bend don't break defense, right? They can give up a few points, they can give up a few plays, but they're not giving up super long plays on the field regularly. They're not allowing running backs to establish real consistent rushes. They're controlling the games, and that, at the end of the day, that's the game. Spagnuolo is fucking slaying right now on defense. Yeah. The offense is working, and they got a rotating. They're just bringing in guys, and every time they bring somebody in, that person's better than the guy who left. Right? They just picked up D-Hop.
The 31.
They got Kareem Hunt.
The 31 teams that aren't the Chiefs had their chance.
Yep.
Eventually, this offense wakes up. It has to. This team is not any better or worse from a football talent standpoint than they have been in any of the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. Eventually, everything's going to click. And then they're not going to be winning games 21-17. They're going to be winning games 50-3. Because once they get rolling, there's not a team in the NFL that can beat the bad Chiefs.
Yeah. You can't beat the bad Chiefs. Imagine trying to beat them when they're good.
So it feels like destiny, and as much as I would hate it, someone needs to send what's left of that Dolphins team to their graves. I've had enough. Of it. Give me a perfect Chiefs season. I don't care. I don't even care anymore. Let's just be done with the Dolphins.
Vegas won't let that happen. Vegas will not allow the Chiefs to have a perfect season.
Man, the Chiefs might be more powerful than the powers that be in Vegas. This team just does not make mistakes. Even when they make mistakes, they can cover for them. I mean,
he's right. I mean, look at the turnover differential in them versus their opponents. The Chiefs have 4 fumbles the entire season, and 3 of them were Carson Steele.
Well, and that's what I was about to say. With a used car salesman who has a pet alligator at running back, like this team
Kareem Hunt was a good running back that just didn't have a job. I knew he was going to come in that system and just do what he needed to do. 4 games, he's got 308 rushing yards on 84 carries and 4 touchdowns. And this is the guy who you just picked up off of the street as your third option because you had Carson Steele and then you had Clyde Edwards-Helaire was injured. Like, that's the guy you just picked up off the street. It's crazy to me that there's other NFL teams that didn't think that he would have been a good sign. Why the Raiders didn't fucking sign him is beyond me. Zamir White is trash. Well, I don't understand it.
I mean, you saw
I don't understand
Cook came in and did.
It blows my mind. Like people just don't see it, and their defense is so consistent. The defense is so consistent. I mean, up and down the board, they don't give up big plays. They get stops when they need to get stops. They control the clock. Like, what else can you say? If you look, by the way, at the team highs for each one of the games that the Chiefs won, Patrick Mahomes was the leading passer, even in the Bengals game, if I'm not mistaken. I think in that game he was still leading passer.
They're playing very efficient, very clean football. And the numbers are coming. The numbers will be there at the end of the year. If you think Mahomes continues on this pace the whole season, I feel sorry for the bubble that person lives in because it's gonna pop. It's gonna hit.
This is the most inaccurate he's been. This is the most inaccurate he's been in his short. This is a Super Bowl hangover. This is a a post MVP caliber season. It's really just a hangover. And at the end of the day, like their hangover, I'll take any day of the week.
Yeah, and that Bucs secondary might be the Alka-Seltzer, man, that you can throw on this Bucs team. So we'll see what happens there. Sean, I got one more crazy thing I want to say to you before we wrap here. I got Bo Nix total scrimmage yards more than Lamar.
No way in hell.
How many? How many yards does Bo Nix have to have for that statement to be true?
You know what? I'm gonna take that back. You may be correct, and the reason why you may be correct is because if they get up big, early,
you're thinking
especially
benched.
No. I'm thinking if Lamar gets up big, they're just gonna run that ball. He don't got to do shit. Derrick Henry and Justice Hill are going to run that ball. Bo Nix is going to be playing from behind. He's going to be slinging, and he's going to be running as much as he can. So actually, I think I agree with that one. I'll go ahead and say Bo Nix will probably have more yards for scrimmage. Now, if Lamar starts throwing flea flickers and shit down the field, start throwing bombs, getting 40, 50-yard receptions, then there's nothing they can do about it. But I actually think that you might be onto something. I think Bo Nix might have, depending again on how bad it is. Now here's my question for you. So here's one for you. Do you think that you'll see more incompletions from Lamar than total touchdown passes or total touchdowns from both teams?
It's the incompletions.
More incompletions from Lamar?
Broncos secondary is solid. I don't think it's a huge number, but
okay.
I mean,
all right. I don't know. I say total. I'm not talking about passing touchdowns. I say total touchdowns from both teams. The rushing touchdowns count too. Lamar ain't got to pass the ball. He ain't got to pass the ball at all. He could literally just do check downs and then have them run the shit out of the ball. Yeah.
It's still the incompletions is the higher number.
Okay.
For me. He's throwing 67% for the season. So even if throw 30 times, that's 10 incompletions.
But I don't see him throwing 30 times. I don't think he'll need to. I think that's what I'm looking at, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, if he goes 17 for, or not 17, but let's say he goes 16 for 21 with 3 touchdown passes, but then rushes, and then you've got Derrick Henry rushing, and then you've got Bo Nix doing what he's doing on the other side of the ball. Yeah. I mean, on the other side, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if the Ravens start to get up in this game, Lamar's not passing the ball. He doesn't need to.
This is definitely the game I'm watching out of the morning slate. Out of all these stinkers that are up on the board here, this is 100%. The one I want to watch, man. 100%. And I think that by receptions, the top 3 players with receptions in this game could all be tight ends. And that's just crazy because that's not the kind of football I like to watch. But I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. Give me Bo. Give me new best friend Lamar.
Who has more rushing yards, Falcons or Ravens?
Oh boy, it's got to be the Ravens still. I think the Ravens got to be chalk there because you have Derrick Henry.
That's true, but they're playing against the Falcons are playing against the worst rush, like arguably the worst rush defense in the NFL.
Yeah, but if I told you to pick, like boil it down, right? I understand there's more to it, but Derrick Henry or Bijan Robinson more likely to have 100 yards rushing.
Derrick Henry. But I will say this, which defense is more likely to give up 100 yards rushing? Broncos defense or Cowboys defense? Hey, there you go.
Cowboys are more likely to give up 200 yards rushing than the Broncos are to give up 100.
Yep. Exactly. It's going to come down to the play actions, really. It's going to be he's going to just once they get the run game established, which is going to happen early for both teams. It's going to come down to the play actions. If Lamar will get yards, he'll get passing yards. If he'll run the score up if he gets play actions going, because they're going to have to stack the fuck out of the box. They're going to have to stack the shit out of the box, and then when that happens, boom, Zay Flowers, boom, and now Deontay Johnson, he's going to end up he's their number 2, number 3 receiver now.
Yeah. Man, and they're going to be mad. They're going to be mad about last week.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Game of the week for me is Broncos Ravens.
Yeah. Game of the week for me is going to be that Lions Packers game.
Yeah, that's probably the real choice.
but you picked the one that makes sense. I appreciate it. Well, man, this time we hit our number today.
We're doing it, man. Steelers and Niners on bye.
Hey, how about them Steelers?
Yeah.
How about them Steelers?
Man. The NFL is crazy. There's a reason the NFL is king, man. The NFL is better than any other sport. It's like
any given Sunday, man. There's no other. Those 3 words resonate with me no matter where it is, no matter who, no matter what. Any given Sunday. We all know what that means. That's the beauty of football. Actually, funny enough, my jewelry right now, no one noticed it, but it's little mini footballs.
Oh, nicely done.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we relaunched our app, Chainlink. That's a sports picks app. Check that out. Free to play. A lot of fun. What else is going on, Sean? We have a college basketball show on the channel, Dead Ball Dancing. That's going to air every Tuesday night, generally. And then me and Sean are still with you for the rest of the year here. And Yelling and Screaming is kind of our flagship right now because the Rose Show's ending,
Hey, look, anybody who wants to jump over from the Rose Show, by all means, please, we would love to have those fans come over and get it going, get it watching. Don't forget, 602 Wine Club's coming up pretty soon, too. Don't forget about that, baby.
That early December.
Yeah, we'll get you guys in on that. It's going to be a blast. We're Club 602 channel. We're just going to keep it going. We're going to give you guys the content as much as we can give you. And we just want you guys to enjoy it, have fun, and participate.
So, like and subscribe. Grab your mama's phone. Subscribe on her phone. Uninstall YouTube again. She doesn't need to watch, but we'll take the subscribe. Yeah. And thanks for joining us. This is Yelling and Screaming. This was NFL Week 9. I'm King of Lakemore. Everywhere you can find me.
At KS Flash.
We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy what should be a really good weekend of NFL football. And
Oh yeah, I'm
set your
excited. I'm
clocks.
excited.
Time change.
Don't forget too, time change for everybody else except Arizona. We ain't gotta do nothing. And more importantly, now it's time for lightning brunch.
Lightning brunch back on Sunday. If you're in the Arizona area, check out the socials, guys. We'll see you soon.
That's right. See us at Doghouse, 9 a.m. on Sunday.
Peace.
Tempe. Peace.